Hey, this is Sully for the Body Count Report for Friday, September the 29th, 2017, and I'm going to take you around the world and show you some world news stories that involve life or death situations. First, we're going to be jumping to the Philippines. This is a Manila Times Regents story. Village chief killed in Midsayap ambush. A barangay chairman in Midsayap, North Cotabato, was killed while his son was spared in an ambush staged by unidentified gunmen on Thursday night. Now, this is likely, but not necessarily, a continuation of the story that I read for the Thursday, the 28th episode of the Body Count Report. Obviously that's here on Antisocial News, so check it out. There was an ambush of a police chief in the same region. The guys doing the killing there are drug dealers, cartels, and people associated with that industry that don't want it infringed upon by the local government, and unfortunately they're likely going to get a rude awakening when the federal government rolls in there, because the whole area is technically on lockdown. So it's going to be an interesting story to follow, because this is bad. And it's only going to get worse for the bad guys. Moving on to Nigeria, where the Biafra people have been wanting to separate. This is Nnamdi Kanu down here. You see a little picture of him. This is Punch in Nigeria reporting that the people were... The Biafra situation is people who look to Kanu as a leader. They're loosely affiliated tribes in southeastern Nigeria, and they very much would like to secede from the federal government of Nigeria, from the country of Nigeria, and have their own state. But the federal government does not want them to even have semi-autonomy because they don't want Nigeria carved up. So this is a very interesting story. The tensions are incredibly high. There was rumors that Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of this group, Biafra, the indigenous peoples of Biafra, was arrested and in custody of the government, but the military came out with a statement saying he was not. So this is a developing story. There's been some updates over the weekend. I will cover it tomorrow in the Monday Body Count Report for October the 2nd. So tune in for that. It should be up by end of day tomorrow. And moving on to our final story, this is out of Cuba. It is the U.S. pulling roughly 60% of its staff out of Cuba and warning American travelers not to visit. Now, the AP story here is pretty strange. I've been covering it for a while here on the Body Count Report in bits and pieces, because I covered that we were getting attacked. U.S. people were getting attacked in their hotel rooms with sonic waves. So there's been too much of crazy shenanigans like that, and we're having to get out of there because of attacks on U.S. citizens over there. And some of them are incredibly creative attacks, like zapping American citizens with audio waves. So So this is a very bizarre situation. Really, the entire, if Americans were to be 100% honest, the entire Cuba situation is bizarre, because President Barack Obama reopened relations with Cuba in one of those kind of apropos of nothing situations, like, oh, okay, I'm just going to do this because I want to. But they've had a horrible human rights record. Incredibly anti-American rhetoric has fueled their government for decades. They've made friends with the intel structure of Russia, which is very underhanded in their tactics, and there's a giant Russian spy ship in their harbor. And President Obama just said, okay, we're not going to ask for anything, any concessions whatsoever, just everything's fine with us in Cuba. And, it's a very bizarre situation. It is not working out very well, because 50 years of America hate rhetoric doesn't really make for a nice place for Americans to just stroll in and start setting up shop. So America's getting some hate from a country that hates us. So not really a surprise to people who know that, but it could be damaging to Barack Obama's legacy to see relations with Cuba deteriorate further. This has been Sully for the Body Count Report, September the 29th, 2017. Tune in tomorrow for more interesting coverage of world news, life or death situations from around the world, because human life is the only precious thing on this planet that we really need to be seeing the news about. And that's why this is specifically these stories about life or death situations. If I enlightened you to a story that you had not heard, I think I earned that like. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and do that. And stay safe.